Alright guys, check it out. My project this week, it is a barn door cabinet. Took me about 2 days and $200 to make it. My mom's birthday is coming up and we're brainstorming ideas for a birthday gift, and my teenage daughter came up with the idea of building her a barn door pantry because she loves the barn door pantry that we built for my brother a couple years ago. But my mom is short and she doesn't have as much space. So we wanted to create something that was a little bit smaller, didn't have quite the height because she couldn't reach it, and would fit in her space. So we came up with this. In this video you can watch me build it. Alright, so here's the plan. I'm going to build basically a big bookshelf out of 1x12s. I like using 1x12s because you can stain them up and they're convenient. You can just buy them right off the shelf and they're the perfect size for a bookshelf. Cutting everything with a compound miter saw, it just makes for nice straight cuts that are real quick and easy to do. I'm going to use pocket hole joinery for building this carcass just because there's a couple places where it's absolutely essential to make the joints work, so figured might as well just do it everywhere. It makes nice precise joints too. This is such a big project, and it's been 30 below in Alaska for the last 6 weeks, so I don't have a lot of space. My car is in the garage on the other side. So that was the big challenge of this project, is just finding a spot to build it that was level and easy to get to and easy to maneuver it. So these are the shelves. You can see I used them kind of as spacers when lining up that center divider. And now I'm going to put the top shelves in first with pocket holes. So I can just use spacers and then place my shelf with the pocket holes on the underside, push up against that spacer as I'm attaching it. So here I wish I'd done 3 pocket holes. You can see that 1x12 is cupped a little bit. When you do yours, throw that 3rd pocket hole in all those shelves. It's such a giant project, and then it gets so heavy and hard to kind of hold things. I started using gravity to help me, so like positioning the carcass so the screw is down so I can push down. It took a little bit, but this is a big project. It's not a hard project, it's just big and cumbersome. So now for the top. I did a 3/4 inch overhang on the ends, so just threw a 3/4 inch board under it and attached the top. And the carcass is done. Now for the front face frame. So I'm going to use 2x2s for the legs on each side. And these are just furring strips and 1x4s in the middle. So it was a little bit of a challenge attaching the 1x4s to the 2x2 because I'm trying to hide that pocket hole on the back side. And then the face frame was just giant. A little bit of a challenge if you have a second person to help you, it'll help out a lot. Now normally I attach face frames with brad nails, but because I use those 2x, a brad nail isn't going to be enough to pull it in, so I used these 2-inch trim screws and attached the face frame to the front. I really like how it looked, the face frame with those 2x2 legs. Now for the door. So I'm just going to use 1x4s and pocket holes and just basically make a big frame. And then I cut these 1x4s at 45s, pocket hole them. I think it just adds a little bit of interest to have the 3 there. For the back of the door and the back of the cabinet, I just used 1 sheet of 1/4 inch plywood and then basically cut it in half. Half of it goes on the back of the cabinet. The other half is going to go on the back of the door. So just glue and 3/4 inch brad nails, I believe is what I used. You could use staples here too. I put a lot more brad nails in after I kind of got the first row of them done. And then I let the door dry flat overnight, and I'm going to start staining. So I'm using Sun Bleached by Varathane. It's kind of a light gray color, but before I get to that, I'm going to do a quick sanding. And then just start staining. Notice how I left the back off to stain. That's just so I could get in the tight spots a little better and maybe do a little better job staining. You could add the back first. That's totally up to you. All right, so the back panel, I stained it separately. And I mean, you can go back and forth. Like, should you put it on first and glue and nail it, or should you stain it and then nail it? The cabinet was pretty sturdy, so I didn't really feel like the back was adding a lot of structure. It was more just kind of decorative. And you notice I've only put half of the back on, and that's just to conserve plywood because I use the other half for the back of the door. So the barn door hardware, I just bought that off of Amazon. I believe it was like 30 bucks. And you can make your own barn door hardware for sure, but I wanted this barn door to slide really, really good. And it was only like 15-20 bucks more to just buy it. So I went that route. The screws for the barn door hardware, where the track mounts were, they needed 2x thickness material. So I just added some spacers behind the header there, something for the screws to go into. So the nice thing about buying the barn door hardware is it's got everything. It's got like all little stops and the right screws and everything, and the spacers. Not that you can't make all this, but if you're in a hurry and you just want to get it done, this is a great way to go. So these are basically just lag bolts. I didn't have the right driving bit to drive the lag bolts in, so I ended up just using a crescent wrench and it worked just fine. Alright, so got the barn door hardware all installed. Let's see if it works good. Perfect. Alright, so I just can't wait to deliver this to my mom. We're going to fill it up with all new dishes for her and just help her get her kitchen organized, and hopefully it makes her life more beautiful and easier. So a special thanks to my daughter for the great idea and the inspiration behind this plan. And if you could use this in your home, the plans are linked in the description. There's a lot of detail in those plans, so if some of the steps were a little bit confusing, head on over to the plan. It's all explained there. There's a shopping list, there's a cut list, everything you need to build it. And while you have a second, make sure you subscribe because we put out a new project plan video every single week, and we love hearing from you. So thanks again for watching this week, and we'll see you next Monday.